Raising my son alone has been the most challenging and rewarding journey of my life. When his mother left us just days after his birth, claiming she wasn't ready to be a parent, it felt like my world was crumbling. She walked out of the hospital without looking back, leaving me, a 21-year-old guy with a newborn in my arms. I often wondered if her mother, my then mother-in-law, had influenced her decision. She had always been vocal about how her daughter was too young for children, and her sudden departure seemed too calculated, too cold, to be just a spur-of-the-moment decision. In the early days, I juggled multiple jobs while caring for my son. I had to drop out of college and take on any work I could find to ensure we had enough to get by. It was a grueling time, but the kindness of friends and strangers kept us afloat. People from our community would often drop by with meals, offer to babysit, or just lend an ear when things got overwhelming. Their generosity was a beacon during my darkest hours. As my son grew, so did the challenges. I enrolled him in the local kindergarten, which allowed me to work more stable hours. Still, every day was a balancing act of work, childcare, and household responsibilities. My son, curious as ever, started asking questions about his mother as he got older. Each query was a dagger to my heart, but I shielded him from the bitterness and resentment I felt towards her. I maintained a narrative that was as neutral as possible to preserve his image of her. During this time, I leaned heavily on my sister, who became a second mother to my son. She was instrumental in helping him with homework, teaching him life skills, and providing the maternal figure he lacked. My father also stepped in as a role model, taking him fishing, teaching him how to fix things around the house, and instilling in him the values I cherished. Years passed, and the pain of his mother's abandonment gradually dulled. We created our own little world, filled with family traditions, weekend outings, and lots of laughter. My son excelled in school, especially in science and math, and developed a passion for robotics. His achievements were a testament to his resilience and the supportive environment we had nurtured. However, just as we were adjusting to our new normal, my son's mother reappeared. It was out of the blue. A message on social media asking to reconnect and meet her son. The news shook me deeply. All the old wounds reopened, the betrayal, the hurt, the years of hardship without her. She wanted to explain herself, to make amends, claiming she had changed and wanted to be part of her son's life. The decision to let her back in was not mine to make alone. I sat down with my son, now a teenager, and discussed it. He was understandably angry and confused, torn between the desire to meet the woman who gave him life and the resentment for the years she'd missed. We decided to take it slow, starting with emails and phone calls. The conversations were stilted at first. She talked about her new life, her regrets, the therapy she'd undergone to come to terms with her past decisions. My son listened, asked tough questions, and processed everything with a maturity beyond his years. It was a slow and often painful process, but it was necessary for his emotional closure. Today, my son is 25 and thriving. He has a degree in mechanical engineering and a promising career ahead of him. His relationship with his mother is cautious, but slowly improving. As for me, I found peace in seeing him happy and fulfilled. The journey wasn't easy, but it shaped us into the family we are today, stronger, closer, and more resilient than ever. So recently, mother-in-law appeared on our doorstep without a call, without any kind of notification. She was just there, and she had come to visit her grandson. I couldn't believe my ears. And at first I almost didn't recognize her because so many years have passed after all, and she was behaving as if she was a caring grandmother who had come to see her grandchild like she does all the time. Not like she was gone for 25 years when my son saw her. He didn't recognize her either. I have shown him pictures of his mother and his grandmother just in case they show up one day. But I never really thought that they would. She ran up to him and hugged him just like a loving grandmother would, asking how he's doing and how big and beautiful he has become. And he pushed her away and looked kind of confused. I told him that it's his grandmother who randomly showed up to visit him, and he was like, "Oh," and walked away from her mother-in-law. Didn't take this reaction very well. She looked at me and was like, "What have you taught him if he doesn't even say hello to his grandmother? He's looking at me as if I'm a stranger. Haven't you told him about his mother? And we are showing him our pictures. Well, technically, you are a stranger mother-in-law. He had never seen you in person, so why are you so surprised? You show up out of thin air after 25 years, when he's all grown up, and expect him to treat you with love. Isn't it kind of delusional? My son said that did show me your picture, but I needed no picture. I needed you to be there for me." He was quite hateful with her, throwing question after question at her, and mother-in-law's responses were so incredibly narrow-minded, it looked like she wasn't expecting him to ask any questions. He asked her where his mother was, and mother-in-law was like, "Oh, she's doing very well. She's living together with a great man, and she has 2 nice kids. She has gotten over that misunderstanding about your birth." She was acting as if her daughter was the victim here, as if we were the ones who left her. He asked her, why did his mother abandon him? Mother-in-law said, well, she was such a young girl, it would be crazy for her to have a child at that age. She had her whole life ahead of her, and a baby would only be an obstacle. You must understand it. She didn't want to lose her freedom. Honestly, her daughter was older than me when our son was born. She was 24. I don't think it's too early to have a child. It's not like she was 14 or something. Actually, age has nothing to do with it. I could have given up my son too. I was very young as well, but I didn't because I loved him and I wanted to be his father. At this point, I wanted to show mother-in-law the door. Obviously, she wasn't welcome in our house, but my son stopped me. He had one more question. He asked why mother-in-law didn't want to be his grandmother. His mother left him fine. But why did mother-in-law leave him to mother-in-law? Said, well, I had no time to take care of you. I was a young woman too. I had my life too. Then grandkids are only obligated to take care of grandparents when they're old, and that's why I'm here. Then my son told her to leave and never come back. He said he doesn't want to see her ever again, and he won't help her with anything really quick. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a link. And as she was leaving, she attacked me like that's what I thought. A man alone cannot raise a proper human being. Such a rude and impolite boy. He would have turned out better in an orphanage than with you. So according to mother-in-law, the conclusion is, don't have children while you're young. Or if you do, feel free to leave them, and then come back a few decades later, and they'll love you, even though they have never received any kind of care from you. But seriously, what the hell was she expecting? Now for the comments before the updates, not the idiot, that stupid bee. That whole side of the family is horrible. I had my daughter May of this year when I was 24 years old, turned 25 in September, and my husband only just turned 22 when she was born. You're absolutely right. It's not freaking 14 years old. You're in adult life. Happens. I could never ever imagine walking out on my daughter and husband like that. It's despicable. Freak them. You're a great father who raised a wonderful son. But the idiot. I'm actually glad this happened. You kicked ass as a father and raised someone who sounds like a strong young man. This strong young man just got to see the difference between the father who raised him and the grandmother, and mother who abandoned him for utterly ridiculous reasons. Well then, about the idiot you probably already have. But just in case, it would be good to talk to him about this. Just an open talk where he can explain how he feels and where you can help him if he has any trouble coping with it. It may not seem like a big deal and that he's handled it really well, but it would still be good just to make sure and to show that he can talk about these things with you. If he doesn't want to, don't press him or anything. Just let him know you're there. Update 1. Life has a way of throwing surprises, and just when you think you've settled into a comfortable rhythm, it disrupts everything with a startling jolt. That's exactly what happened when, out of the blue, my son, now a mature and self-reliant 25-year-old, received a mysterious friend request on social media. It was from an account bearing the name and image of his long-absent grandmother. Naturally, this sudden attempt at digital reconnection caught us off guard, igniting a mix of curiosity and old wounds. This wasn't just a simple friend request. It was the opening gambit in what turned out to be a meticulously planned maneuver by his grandmother to orchestrate a reunion between my son and his mother. The mother who had decisively walked out of our lives a quarter century ago, right after his birth, claiming she was not ready to be a parent. The same woman who refused even the basic maternal gestures of holding her newborn, leaving me, a bewildered 21-year-old, to pick up the pieces. My son, always analytical, decided to probe the situation by messaging his grandmother directly through social media. He confronted her about the decades of silence, demanding to know why she chose this moment to reach out. The digital confrontation was tense. His grandmother's messages were filled with awkward justifications and vague sentiments about regrets and lost time. During their conversation, she dropped another bombshell. Not only did she want to reconnect, but she was also acting as an intermediary for his mother, who was now expressing a desire to meet him. According to her, his mother had experienced a profound change of heart and now wanted to make amends for the years lost. My son's reaction was a complex tapestry of emotions. There was anger, certainly, for the years of abandonment and the emotional baggage that came with it. But there was also an undeniable spark of curiosity about the woman who had given him life. Could someone truly change that much? And what did she want from him now? After much deliberation and numerous discussions between us, my son decided he would meet his mother, but he set strict boundaries. He chose a neutral location, a quiet, nondescript cafe downtown, and made it clear that he was in control of the interaction. This was not a reunion, it was an evaluation. The day of the meeting was fraught with tension. I accompanied him to the cafe, offering silent support. His mother arrived, looking older and more vulnerable than the last image he had of her from an old photograph I had kept. The initial moments were awkward, the air thick with unspoken emotions and tentative glances. As they talked, his mother tried to explain herself. She spoke of her youth, her overwhelming fears, and the pressures she felt from her own mother, who, according to her, had subtly coerced her into abandoning her parental duties for a life she was ill-prepared to forfeit at the time. She talked about her new family, her attempts at motherhood again, and how these experiences had eventually brought her to a place of regret and desire for forgiveness. My son listened, his face a mask of calm that belied the turmoil inside. He questioned her motives, her absence, and the impact of her decisions on his life. Each answer she gave seemed to unravel more of the carefully curated facade of regret she presented. It became clear that while she sought forgiveness, she was still grappling with the full extent of her actions. The meeting ended with a cautious agreement from my son to remain in tentative contact, establishing boundaries that she would have to respect if she wished to be part of his life. As we walked away from the cafe, he squeezed my hand, a silent acknowledgement of the journey we had undertaken together, without her. In the days following, my son wrestled with the concepts of forgiveness and what it means to rebuild trust. He was open about his feelings, discussing them with me, and even with friends who had become like family over the years. It was a process, he realized, that would not be hurried. As for me, I was left to ponder the roles we play in our children's lives. The encounter had reaffirmed my role not just as a caregiver, but as a steadfast pillar in the unpredictable storm that life can sometimes be. Our story, marked by absence and resilience, had taken a new turn, but it was far from over. It was a reminder that sometimes the family we create is stronger than the one we are born into, and love, not blood, defines our bonds. Update 2. After that whole cafe meetup, which was already a massive step for my son, his mom threw us another curveball. Out of the blue, she hits him up wanting him to come to this big family bash. She's talking about how he's got half-siblings he's never met and a bunch of relatives who apparently have been in the dark about him all these years. It sounded like a full-on family reunion from a movie or something. So here's the deal. This invite comes out of nowhere and she's laying it on thick, trying to paint this picture of a big, happy family that just happens to have missed a few decades of birthdays, graduations, you name it. My son, he's naturally skeptical, like, why now? After 25 years of radio silence, she wants to play happy families? It just didn't sit right with either of us. Given everything that's gone down, we decided to do a bit of digging before he even thought about RSVPing to this shindig. A little poking around on social media and some discreet chats with people who kinda know the situation, and boom! We uncover that she's tangled up in this nasty legal mess over some family inheritance. Talk about drama. This whole reunion reeked of her needing something more than just family bonding. Armed with this info, my son decides to confront her. Just straight up asks her on the phone if this whole reunion is because she needs a favor with her financial mess. And get this, she actually admits it. Says she thought maybe he could sway the family in her favor because he's the long-lost son suddenly back in the picture. Pretty manipulative, right? So my son, he's pretty gutted by this. There were these tiny hopes that maybe, just maybe, she was trying to make things right. But nope, it was all just another scheme. He tells her straight up, no thanks, on the family meetup. Tells her he's not interested in being part of some plot in her financial drama. Her reaction? She's frustrated, maybe even a bit angry, and tries to play the victim card, like how he's misunderstanding her intentions, but he's not buying it, and they end up ending the call on pretty sour terms. The next few days are rough on him. He's wrestling with all these feelings of disappointment and betrayal. We talk a lot about what family means, about the people who've really been there for him versus those who just show up when they need something. It's a tough lesson, sure, but it's also clarifying. He decides to stick to the family he knows has his back. Friends, me, people who've stepped up without any hidden agendas. This whole mess has just reinforced for him that family isn't just about blood. It's about who you can trust and who supports you without conditions. As for the mom, well, she's kind of back to square one with us. My son's door isn't completely closed, but he's going to need some real, genuine effort from her side, no strings attached, before he considers opening it again. And honestly, he's not holding his breath. We've both learned a lot from this saga. It's been a roller coaster for sure, but also a stark reminder of the values we hold dear. In the end, he's come out stronger, more aware of who he is and what he stands for. And as for me, I couldn't be prouder of how he's handled this whole thing. It's not every day you see someone face this kind of emotional chaos with such maturity. Update 3. Just when we thought things were simmering down and maybe, just maybe, we could get a little peace, My son's mom decided to crank the drama up to 11. Totally out of the blue, she shows up at our place. No warning, no call, nothing. Just rings the bell like she's dropping by for a casual Sunday brunch. I open the door, and there she is, standing on the porch looking all kinds of stressed and determined. Honestly, it felt like something straight out of a soap opera. She's got that look, like she's about to unleash something big. She asked to talk to her son, but he's not having any of it. After all the emotional gymnastics she's put him through, he's in no mood to deal with more surprises. He just flat out refuses to even come to the door. And that's when the bomb drops. She starts going off right there on the doorstep, accusing me of turning her own son against her. According to her, I've spent the last 25 years filling his head with negative stuff about her, making sure he hates her guts. She's getting louder by the minute, throwing around blame like confetti at a parade. She's painting this picture where I'm the villain, keeping her away from her son, making it impossible for her to have a relationship with him. It's like she's rewritten history, forgetting the part where she walked away and stayed away. The audacity of her rewriting our past and trying to play the victim now, it's just wild. So there I am, standing in my own doorway, having to defend myself and the life choices I made to raise our son the best way I knew how, alone. I remind her, as calmly as I can manage while she's going off, that she chose to leave. She chose the silence. Every decision I made was for our son, to give him the stability and love he deserved, the stuff she opted out of providing. Things just escalate from there. She's raising her voice, I'm trying to keep it together, and the neighbors are starting to peek out their curtains. It's turning into a real spectacle, the kind you just never want to be part of. Finally, when it's clear she's not leaving and she's just ramping up more, I have no choice. I call the cops. Yeah, it felt extreme, but what else was I supposed to do? She was causing a scene, refusing to leave, and frankly, it was getting a little scary. The cops show up, and they have to escort her off the property. It's intense, embarrassing, and just really sad when you think about it. After all that drama, my son and I sit down for a serious heart-to-heart. He's really shaken up, angry, upset, the whole 9 yards. It's one thing to handle personal family issues in private, but having it all spill out like that, publicly, it's rough on anyone. He's firm on his decision after tonight. No more Mrs. Nice Guy, no more chances. The way she handled everything, just showing up, making accusations, refusing to leave, it's just sealed the deal for him. He's done, and honestly, I support him 100%. We talk about how we'll handle any future attempts from her to reach out, deciding that strong boundaries are the way to go. That night was a real trial by fire. It tested us, no doubt about it, but if anything, it just made our bond stronger. It's a stark reminder that not all family drama can be neatly resolved, and sometimes you just have to stand your ground and protect your peace. This whole saga, as crazy as it's been, has really shown us the importance of sticking together and supporting each other through thick and thin. And whatever comes next, I know we'll handle it together, just like we always have. Update 4. My son, bless his heart, has gone and done something absolutely wonderful. He's gotten engaged. And let me tell you, the story of how he popped the question is straight out of a romance movie. But of course, there's a twist in the tale, because what's a family saga without a little unexpected drama, right? First off, the backstory on the Lovebirds. My son met his now fiancée about a year back. They were introduced by some mutual friends at a local music festival. Sparks flew, the stars aligned, you know the drill. She's this vibrant, super smart woman who just clicks with him on every level. She's got this infectious laugh that just lights up the room and a sense of humor that can keep up with his. Watching them together, it's like they've known each other for lifetimes. Now, on to the proposal, because this deserves its own spotlight. My son planned this epic beach sunset scenario, all secretive and hush-hush. He was sneaking around, making calls, and booking things on the down low. He even asked for my advice on the ring, wanted something classic but with a twist, something that screamed her. The day of the proposal, he was a bundle of nerves. He took her to this gorgeous secluded spot on the beach, had a picnic set up with all her favorite foods, and even managed to sneak in a playlist of their favorite songs in the background. As the sun was setting, right there with the sand between their toes and the sound of the waves, he got down on one knee and did the whole romantic spiel. She was completely taken aback. Tears, laughter, the whole 9 yards. She said yes, of course. He called me right after, and he was so choked up he could barely speak. I mean, my heart was bursting for him. Fast forward to now, and we're knee-deep in wedding planning. They want something small but memorable, just close friends and family, in this lovely little vineyard they both love. We've been tasting cakes, looking at flowers, the works. It's been a whirlwind of happy plans and Pinterest boards. But here's the kicker. Just as we're getting into the groove of things, an RSVP lands in our mailbox that throws us for a loop. It's from none other than my son's grandmother. No heads up, no prior communication, just an RSVP out of the blue saying she's coming. Mind you, we didn't even send her a direct invite. She must have gotten wind of the wedding from another family member. This threw us a bit off balance. My son had mixed feelings about it. There's a lot of history there, a lot of hurt from past actions. We sat down, had a real talk about what this meant, how he felt about her possibly being there. It's his big day, and the last thing I want is for him to feel uncomfortable or on edge. After a good long chat, we decided we're going to approach this with cautious optimism. Maybe it's her way of trying to mend fences, maybe not, but we're not going to let it overshadow the whole event. The main thing is my son's happiness and celebrating this incredible new chapter in his life with his soon-to-be wife. So despite the surprise RSVP, we're keeping our eyes on the prize, this beautiful wedding and the even more beautiful marriage that'll follow. I'm just so proud of him, stepping into this new role as a husband with so much love and maturity. As for me, I'm just thrilled to bits. I can't wait to see him stand there at the altar, starting this wonderful journey with a woman who's as fantastic as he is. We're going to make sure this wedding is nothing short of magical come what may. Here's to new beginnings, even if they come with a little unexpected twist. Update 5. Let's start with Grandma. Not only did she decide to RSVP out of nowhere, but she also took it upon herself to become the unsolicited wedding planner. Picture this. Emails flooding in at all hours with her helpful suggestions on everything. Change the venue. Check. Redo the entire menu. Check. Oh, and let's not forget about calling our carefully chosen vendors to give her 2 cents without anyone asking her to. As if Grandma on a wedding planning spree wasn't enough. Enter stage right, my son's mother. She's been pretty much off the radar, only popping up now and then with some emotional phone call. But now she's suddenly all about the wedding. She calls my son, tears in her voice, begging for a pivotal role in the ceremony. She wants to give a big, heartfelt speech, her chance to spill her guts about past mistakes and missed years in front of a captive audience. Yep, you guessed it. Super awkward. The real showdown happened at what was supposed to be a chill menu tasting session. Just us, the lovely couple, and some delicious food. But nope, Grandma and Mom decided it was the perfect event to crash. They showed up uninvited and ready for action. Grandma immediately started nitpicking everything from the appetizers to the dessert choices, while Mom pulled my son aside every chance she got, laying on the guilt thick, trying to manipulate him into giving her a spotlight role at the wedding. Midway through the tasting, things escalated. Mom, maybe feeling bold with Grandma backing her up, launched into a full-blown tirade against me right there in front of the caterers, mind you. She accused me of alienating her from her son, of filling his head with negativity about her all these years. It was intense. Accusations flying, tears flowing, the whole 9 yards. My son, who's usually the calm in any storm, had enough. He stood up, cleared his throat, and delivered what was probably the speech of his life. He told them both in no uncertain terms that this was his wedding, a celebration of his future, not a stage for airing family grievances. And then he dropped the bomb. If they couldn't get with the program and cut out the drama, they wouldn't be welcome at the wedding. Mic, drop. The room went silent. It was one of those moments where you could literally hear a pin drop. Post-tasting showdown. My son and his fiancée got together and made some tough calls. They sent out a very diplomatic yet firm message to both Mom and Grandma. The gist? Any more antics? Any more drama? And they'd be officially uninvited from the wedding. It was harsh, maybe, but necessary to keep their big day about love and joy, not past hurts and drama. Now we're in this weird calm before the storm phase. Invitations are out. RSVP are in, including those controversial ones. And we're a few weeks out from the big day. Everything's eerily quiet on the Mom and Grandma front, which is both a relief. And if I'm honest, a bit nerve-wracking. We're all kind of on edge, half expecting some last-minute theatrics. Through all this craziness, though, I've seen my son and his fiancée handle things with such grace and unity. It's clear they're ready to take on whatever life throws at them as a team. And as for me, I'm just proud and excited to see them tie the knot. I'm focusing on the joy of the upcoming celebration, the start of their new life together, and making sure that this wedding is as magical as they deserve, come what may. So here's to love overcoming drama, to new beginnings, and to a wedding day that will hopefully be as smooth as the road to getting there was bumpy.